Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, December 8th, and today we will go over Group C, and we will do our best guess to get an idea of what the heck they're going to pay this week. As you know, Group C does declare this week. They'll declare Wednesday, which they'll typically announce around 6:30 to 7 a.m., and then you have that whole day to buy into the fund in order to qualify for the distribution. But obviously you have to hold it until ex-dividend date, which is the following day. And then payment date will fall on the Friday. I forgot to pull up the schedule this time around, but I think you guys get the gist. But I'll make sure to do it next time. So anyway, for this week, obviously we have Group C, which is always headlined by Cony. But, in order of, I believe I have this in order of launch date. Yeah, Nefle did launch a week before Cony, which is why it's at the top, which, all good, whatever, right? So let's start with Nefle. So Nefle had a really, really good 4-week cycle. If you look over here to the right, based on their last X date, which was November 14th, right? Make sure that formula is picking up properly. Yep. So on X date, November 14th, they were at 1823. Since then, they're at 1983. So they went up $1.60. So that's pretty massive. So, you have to consider that when giving them, to get an idea of what they're going to pay, right? Also, their IV is super low, though. Their IV is 24%. So using those two things in comparison, I came up with a 95-cent estimate. Prior distribution was 78 cents, and the one before that was 79. So 95 cents, obviously a big increase from the prior. However, they did go up $1.60. So in consideration of that, I think they'll pay around 95 cents, which is a 62% yield. Could they pay $1? Absolutely, and they may. Again, but you don't know. $1.60, we don't know how much they cashed out of that, how much is that is actual income that they declared via, synthetic bailout or weekly, income yet. So we shall see. Up next, a fan favorite, Cony. All right, so Cony paid $1.10 week one, the first cycle of the 4 weeks, and then they paid $2.02. So they could be anywhere, right? However, if we scroll to the right, how did they do this month? I mean, they went crazy. Their last X date, they were priced at $15.78. And then today, again, it's like almost unbelievable. Yeah, AY22. So it's as of the open on 11/14, they were $15.78. And then as of this past Friday, they're showing to be $18.40. So, I mean, they went up $2.62. So why not pay $2 again, right? Well, again, I don't know. Lately, when I've been checking their synthetics, they haven't cashed them out yet. So that tells me maybe, some of this is not actual income yet because they didn't put it on the books. It's just paper. So that kind of is the reason I'm not going to give them $2. So I'm thinking more along the lines of pushing them over the 100% yield mark just for headline purposes, of course. Because, again, some of this is for show, right? We gotta impress, but at the same time, some of it is actual. They are making this money, so they can rightfully pay it out. We just don't know if it's taxable or on paper yet. So that's where I came up with the $1.61, which would prove to be a 113% yield as we speak. Again, because let's make sure this, yeah. So you take that price, 161, you multiply by 13, because again, since they do every 4 weeks, that's a 13 payment cycle annually. So you multiply that by 13, divided by the current price under that cell 025, which I'll just show you over here. Yep, current start price. So yeah, that's where I came up with that. No, I'm not going to change it. I think that's pretty much in line. Their IV is 79%, so we'll see. I could be lowballing, but I think everyone would be happy with the $1.61. All right, MSFO, let's see how they did this month. They went up 30 cents. That's not bad, from 19 to 1930. Their last payments were 50 and 50. So I'm kind of, I gave them 41 cents. Am I lowballing? Well, maybe, right? They may pay more. It's possible. But, again, it's hard to tell based on this, little information. But you have to also keep in mind their IV is only 17%. IVs have been dropping a lot lately. So me giving them a 27% yield, I felt was even generous. So I'm going to give them a 41 cent payment, again, which is a 27% yield. All right, moving on to AMDY. How did they do this month? They didn't really do much at all. They went up a penny. All right, so that being said, it's really hard because look at the last two cycles. They paid 92 cents and they paid 81 cents. So it was hard for me to give them a payment based on their IV because that would be even lower. So I decided to give them a 45-cent payment, which ended up being, a 50% yield versus their 34% IV. So is that generous? I think that's generous. Again, but based on the last payments, they could boost it up. Who the hell knows? But again, I'm giving AMDY 45-cent, 50% yield guesstimate. Let's go to PYPY. PYPY, let's see how they did. They had a good month. They did go up 74 cents from 1848 to 1922. Their last two payments were kind of all over the place, $1.10, and then they paid 58 cents. So this one, I'm going to give them more than last month, but less than the first one. I'll give them a 61-cent payment. Again, that's not much of an increase, but it is a 41% yield, which is greater than their IV of 29%. So still pretty decent. Could I be lowballing? Who knows? But, again, you never know. That's why it's a guesstimate. All right. Up next, one of the funds I hate, ABNY. This is the Airbnb ones. Again, they've been making decent payments. They paid 80 cents the first cycle and then 86 cents the next cycle. This month, they went up 33 cents, which is not great. It's not bad. And their IV is at 26%. So I gave them a 44-cent guesstimate distribution, which comes to be a 35% yield, which is above the 26% IV. So, it's like almost half of what they've been paying, but it is what it is, right? I don't think they should be paying more based on what I see. All right, up next is another one I hate, the inverse, freaking Fiat, man. Their last two payments all over the place too, $1.45. Then they essentially cut it in half down to 72 cents. They did not have a good month. They went down they dropped 72 cents. It went from 908 to 836. So no reason for them to even pay nonetheless. But I'll give them a yield of their IV. Their IV based on the underlying, it is 79%. So again, that's 51 cents is generous, more than what they should be paying, in my opinion, based on the current price and based on how they've been doing. But again, my guesstimate for Fiat is 51 cents, which is a 79% yield. Up next is Ulti. I don't have the details for Ulti, but I did cover it a week. I think it was last week. So I'm going to use what I did on last week. If you want to see what I covered last week, feel free to check out that video. I will pin it to the top of the comments. But based on that, I used the average IV, their latest IV, which is 64%, which is based on the latest poll I did. And then I juiced it up 150% because they have a lot of different option strategies going to give them, assuming they're earning more premium than usual. So I juiced it up to 97%. And then I took that 97 and then I got the average of that plus the prior two payments, right? So the average of those three comes to 102% yield. And that comes to 0.0808, which rounds to 0.81, which is the guesstimate I gave them, right? If I use my old method, we'd be looking at 51 cents, right? Which is basically Ulti, Ulti price times the IV. The average IV, when I did it, was 64%, which is really low. But I'm going to give them 81 cents. Now let's get back to the sheet and show you how that compares to the prior payments. The prior two were 82 cents and 83 cents, so this is a slight decrease. However, it is still above 100% yield. It's 102% yield. How they do for the month? They did go up by 32 cents. So, not fantastic, but not all that bad. So yeah, that would be my guesstimate for Ulti. All right, so we kind of covered how much they went up per share already. But again, I do recovery rates. These are the final recovery rates. So it compares how much they went up per share against the actual prior distribution. Not the one I guesstimated, but the one that they paid in the prior cycle. Because again, we hope that these funds recover at least that, right? Even though they're not paying based on that technically, but it would be helpful if they did recover what they just paid. And if you look at Nefle, they've recovered 2 times over. They have a recovery rate of 204%. Cony has recovered 129%, so good start right there. MSFO, unfortunately, only recovered half, a little more than half, 58%. ABNY, as we mentioned, standstill, but they recovered 1.23%. PYPY recovered 125%, so that's good. So we got three that recovered in full. ABNY has recovered 38%. Again, these inverse funds suck, so they recovered essentially negative 100% or negative 99.2%. And then Ulti, unfortunately, they only recovered 38%. So yeah, nothing too outstanding lately for Ulti, but they've been doing decent. And again, I'm someone that is going to give them time, because you have to keep in mind the prospectus. It just changed. What was it? October 15th, right? So things take time. They're going to get used to playing it how they are, and hopefully it all works out. But I'm not going to judge them from obviously the drop in price prior. People are still doing that, which I just don't get it. All right, and then you have YMAX and YMAG, where I have to do their guesstimate based on last week's payments from NVIDIA, in that group, right? Group B. So if I do that, I'm looking at some estimates here. I'm looking at a YMAX estimate of 17 cents. This would be for the upcoming week. And then a YMAG estimate of 19 cents. So YMAG would beat YMAX. Why? Well, I guess because NVIDIA and Phoebe, right? Phoebe had a letdown too, actually, but there are 2 at least paying. So, and no really outside of those 2, there's really none that paid fantastically. So that's why YMAX won't be too spectacular. But again, I don't know. Typically, my estimates are actually higher, so sadly, it could be lower. Now, if you look at my guesstimate yield for Group C, so this would be the YMAX and YMAG estimate for the following week. Not this coming week, the week after. YMAX would be 18 cents, and YMAG would be 6 cents. I think you guys know what the 6 cents is about, but I'll explain if you don't. It's because MSFO is the standalone stock for the YMAG group. Again, they are the Magnificent Seven. Seven's an odd number. So out of the 4 groups, there has to be an odd man out. And unfortunately, they decided to put MSFO as that odd man out, even though, their yield sucks. Look at their IV, 17%. They should not have done, MSFO as the standalone, but they did. All right, so that's the guesstimates. Couple notes. I kind of covered this in my last video, but NVIDIA, they're part of Group B. They just paid. So if we're looking at house money, just want to update you. NVIDIA has now paid 123% of their original investment. And actually, update on my stuff, if you guys care, I want to show you something. If I go to my NVIDIA, my updated information here, if you look, I'm at 101% house money based on the latest distribution that I got, which was 237.02. So they have paid me back all of my original investment. So I am officially at house money. So I figured to mention that. I'll cover that obviously at my month end status, but I thought that was pretty cool. I know a lot of you are probably close, if not already there as well. So let me know in the comments where you're at for NVIDIA. Phoebe, they've paid back 60%. So they're getting there. And I think NVIDIA is actually ahead of Misty now. Yeah, because Misty did pay back 120%. So, but obviously when they get their chance, they're going to reclaim their crown. So a couple other notables: Squee, they're at 66%, Amdy 51%, Group C, Cony's at 117%, and they're going to pay again, so obviously that's going to be even better. Nefle's at 52%, ABNY 62%, Ulti 46%, Tesla 72%, and OARC 55%. So yeah, outside of that, there's not really much to report. I do know YieldMax said Marrow is coming out. I don't know. I actually didn't check the information. I just saw someone mention it on the Discord. So I don't have a date. I don't know what group they're going to be in. But I do know, Marrow trades Marrow. So some information on Marrow. Their current price is $26.43. They're closer to their 52-week high, and their implied volatility is absolutely amazing, 131%. So I'm very happy to get this one out because it'll be part of YMAX very soon. I personally don't trade Marrow, but I don't know enough about them. The more I hear about them, the more I want to trade on them. So I may. But yeah, again, this is just a super volatile fund. And again, I'm happy to have it added to YMAX. Maybe the next one after this could be a little more stable. But again, as a greedy bastard and you want the high yield, Marrow's a good ad, or Marrow, I should say. So Marrow should be out very soon. Outside of that, I got nothing. Yeah, nothing new there. But I'll do a quick recap for those of you that may have joined the premiere late, and then we'll end it here. All right, so again, Group C is declaring. Starts with Nefle. So Nefle, I'm going to give a guesstimate of 95 cents, which is a 62% yield. Cony 161, 113% yield. MSFO 41 cents, 27% yield. ABNY 45 cents, 50% yield. PYPY 61 cents, 41% yield. ABNY 44 cents, 35% yield. Fiat 51 cents, 79% yield. And then Ulti 81 cents, 102% yield. So I'm guessing two would land above the 100% yield, which would be on the headlines. And then, of course, I did YMAX and YMAG, and they would be YMAX 17 cents and YMAG 19 cents. So, we shall see. I didn't put a yield. Maybe I should put a yield to the right or something. I don't know. But yeah, those are my guesstimates. As always, these are just guesstimates. So leave it at that. YieldMax will announce Wednesday, so you'll have time after they announce to buy into the fund. Do not make any buys based on, this information. This is just my best guess, having fun, all right? And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. I know my voice is still groggy and I'm still talking low, because again, I'm in the house with sleeping people, and I'm recovering from being sick. So hopefully, maybe starting tomorrow, things will be back to normal. But if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. It does go a long way. Yes, it does. And if you have any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments below. Outside of that, I don't really have anything, but yeah, so it is a morning video, so I have to do a keyword. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to do the keyword. So the keyword, again, I've been making you guys work kind of, and I'll continue that effort. So since Cony is the headline fund here, I would say Ulti, but Ulti's kind of predictable. So we'll give Cony the nod here. What do you guys think Cony is going to pay? So again, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, type in the comments below what you think Cony is going to pay. So again, the prior two payments were $1.10, then $2.02. They jumped up in price, $2.62. I guessed $1.61, which is 113% yield. What's your guess? You can give a guess of an amount. You can give a guess of a yield. You can give a guess of both. But leave it down below if you're interested. If you're not interested in doing guesstimates, then feel free to just say, pay me, sucker, right? Simple as that. All right. So again, thank you guys for watching and enjoy your day. Later.